Hello everyone and welcome to the 12th video as a part of the training videos on filling up and submitting the DGQI second edition self-assessment questionnaire via the DGQI portal. In this series of videos, we are giving a walkthrough of the DGQI portal and the DGQI questionnaire to explain how the questionnaire is to be responded by ministries and departments using the portal. In the last 11 videos, we have already explained how to answer part A of the questionnaire and the first two sections of part B of the questionnaire. In this video, we'll be covering how to answer part B, section C, which is data analysis, use, and dissemination. So on the home page, we go to the add part B button and we select the scheme for which we are filling up the form, and we go to the section C, which is data analysis, use, and dissemination. The section has multiple questions and it aims to assess how the ministries are undertaking data analysis on the collected data after verifying its quality, so that we can assess how this data is then actually being used to inform the ministry's decision making on a day-to-day basis. It is also trying to understand how this data is being disseminated by the ministry or the scheme division in user-friendly manner with different kinds of interfaces. Beginning with the first question, seeks to answer whether ask what types of data analysis is being undertaken by the scheme division on the data that is collected by it. There are different types of data analysis which have been also explained here, and the Ministry of Scheme Division can select whichever type of data analysis they are undertaking. It's a multi select question, so whichever type of analysis they are undertaking, you're requested to please select those options accordingly. Ranging from descriptive data analysis, which is very basic, going to exploratory, inferential, predictive, causal, to mechanistic analysis. If there is any other type of analysis that's being undertaken, it can be measured under the other section. The next question is question 2, which is to be only responded if if any of the above is yes. So essentially, if any of the ministry says it is undertaking any one of the type of the data analysis, then question 2 asks whether within this analysis, what is the type of data that is being analyzed? So it is only the scheme level data, or is it actually analyzing cross schematic data or sectoral data also wherever needed? For example, so if scheme A is there, so is it only analyzing the scheme A data, or is it using, let's say, data of any scheme B or the sector to which scheme A and B correspond to? Is it also taking that sector level data into account and also analyzing that? So ministries can select yes, no, or not applicable accordingly. If the cross schematic or sectoral data is not applicable to be analyzed, the scheme division is requested to explain why is it the case. Third, again, if the answer to any one of the options in question number 1 is yes, then the third question is seeking to ask what is the frequency at which this data analysis is then documented, because that's also very important. Once it is done, documenting it in any form, reports, notes, publications, any form. So whether it is being done real time, quarterly, annually, half yearly, or never. So it is being undertaken, but it is not clearly documented. The fourth question seeks to ask after this, that after the data analysis is done, how is this, and it is documented, how is this being used by the ministry officials for various purposes? Is it being used to redesign the schemes or activities under the schemes? Is it being used to do missed course corrections, and if it is being used, then at what frequency? So you can accordingly select all the purposes for which it is being used at the respective frequency. If you are not using it for that purpose, you're requested to choose never. So that covers the first 4 questions on data analysis. The next few questions are on the modes of dissemination that are available for disseminating this data and related data analysis. So the fifth question asks, what other modes are being used to disseminate this MIS or paper-based data? So one thing is that the data is being reported either on paper-based methods or it is being reported on MIS. Also, some data analysis is being done, uh, either it being documented in reports or notes, whichever forms. But then, what other modes are being used to disseminate this, data and related data analysis? For example, dashboards are very important for data visualization, for giving user-friendly methods of giving the key insights of displaying the key performing indicators. So, is dashboard being used by the scheme? Or if mobile apps are being used to disseminate any sort of data to share it with citizens. Social media is being used to share data with citizens and to interact with them. SMS is being used to send some kind of details to users or beneficiaries with respect to scheme activities, or any other social media methods such as mass media methods such as newspapers, magazines, or outdoor media, or some events are held, or TV or radio. So you're requested to select all the options which are applicable and accordingly select yes or no, and not applicable if any specific option is not applicable to you for some specific reason. Again, a word of caution here that ministries may please choose NA only if it is by the nature of the scheme that particular mode is not applicable for them. Let's say because if it is a scheme that does not require a major that does not require to send SMS updates to users or beneficiaries because it is not a beneficiary based scheme, then it will be not applicable. But if it is a beneficiary based scheme, but the scheme is not using it, then it does not mean that it is not applicable. Then the appropriate response should be no. So please be careful about the choice between no and NA based on the nature of the scheme. Finally, if the next few questions are on dashboard specifically, because that's a very important method of mode of disseminating data digitally apart from the MIS. So if we so if we select yes in 5A, then the next few questions become they need to be answered. Otherwise, if you select no, then question 6, 7, 8 get automatically disabled and they're not to be answered, and you're requested to move directly to question 9. They will automatically get disabled. So assuming that we have filled yes in 5A, to explain this question 6, 7, and 8. 6 question is specific to what are the purposes for which dashboards are being used by ministry officials if they are in place. So that they are not just there for dissemination but also for internal contemplation and internal decision making, as they can be very helpful. So different purposes, ministries are requested to select whichever purpose they are using the dashboard of the scheme for. What kinds of data visualizations are available on the dashboard of the scheme, ranging from bar chart to specialized visualizations like steam graph and Gantt charts, etc. If they're using any other type of visualizations, you can mention in the text box. And question 8, whether it is visualizing information on maps. So where the scheme division can select yes, no, or not applicable. For example, if it is a scheme which is not based geography based, which does not offer value in visualizing it on maps, let's say it is based on some research projects that are being undertaken, or research grants, then it may be not applicable. A rough example. So moving to question 9. So this question will then again become applicable for everybody, no matter whether what is the response in question 5, and it will be not be disabled. So question 9 ask about the question 9 and 10. It asks about the accessibility of the MIS. So if the so here we are going back to the MIS. We are not talking anymore about the dashboard. Question 6, 7, 8 are the only questions about the dashboard. So question 9 asks whether the MIS supports multilingual features as per the Government of India norms for government websites. Similarly, if it question 10 asks if it is supporting the features for differently abled people as per GIGW norms. So ministries have to select yes, no, or partially depending on where the MIS stands. Partially if some norms are followed, but not all. Finally, question 11, 12, and 13 are about how easy it is for the MIS data to be openly accessible in machine readable formats for the general population as a part of the open data movement across the world. So 11 asks whether the MIS data is accessible for general population with credentials or without credentials, or it is not at all accessible. Question 12 asks if there is an option on the MIS to download bulk data in machine readable formats or not. Uh, Ministries can select yes if there is an option, no if there is no such option, and it is only available in some PDF formats or some non-readable formats on the website, and partially if some norms are followed, but not all. That is, some data is downloadable in machine readable formats, but some is not downloadable. And finally, if the MIS data is also available on data.gov.in, which is the open data portal of the Government of India, and as per the NDSAP policy, all the non-personal data which can be shared publicly should be available on this portal, so that all such non-personal data can be easily accessible to the citizens at one place. So if the scheme division can select yes if non-personal data for their scheme is available on this portal. If it is not available, it is not yet onboarded, then they are to select no. So that's all for part A, section C, data analysis, use and dissemination. In the next section, in the next video, we'll be covering the next section of part B, which is part B, section D, use of technology. Thank you.